Hey friends, welcome to Smalland Survive the Wilds. It's a new Steam game that just came in early access, and it involves you being a tiny little bug type person living in a giant's world and surviving, taming bugs, fighting, building, all of the good stuff. Definitely recommend if you're looking for a new survival game to check out. But we played it for about 6 hours the other day on stream. Um, and I figured I would put together this video of 10 tips that I found while I was playing that maybe will help you out some. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first small lands tip I want to share with you involves the map and the map markers. So you can add and remove a map marker with right click and it'll go down. And it doesn't seem obvious at first, at least not in the current build, but for the longest time I thought that that was the line marking where it was. But really what that is you can actually enter text. So this is my marker here, and you can actually name your markers. And so that's what that is a flashing text field. And then when you go out and you come back in, you can see where your marker is. And then you can right click to get rid of it again, and then you can add another one, my other marker. And the great thing about that then is you know what things are. And so if we click that, we can see that on the mini map now. It doesn't show you the name on the mini map, but if you're facing it, you can see it here and you can say, hey, that's my other marker. The next tip that I want to share with you from Smalland involves the building. And namely, you can rotate and turn on and off snapping unlike other games in this game. So, for example, let's say we wanted to put a door down, and normally, you would put it in there and you can rotate it with your mouse, with your scroll mouse. If you hit R for advanced rotate, you can actually change this on other axes. So that's the normal axis that you would expect, but if we grab it by this blue axis, you can see it's rotating that way. And that's crazy, because why would you put a door there like that? But you might. Depending on how your building creativity is, you might want to put that door there. The other thing about building that's fun is that you can actually turn on and off snapping. So if you hit the T button, this little thing comes up, and that's what this magnet is. That's snapping. And the great thing about that is then you can, let's say we go back into our advanced, and you can reset your axes, and then you can choose which way to put this. But anyways, with snapping turned off, you see it's not grabbing on anywhere. So if you wanted a door right here in the middle of this platform, bam. So now you have a door right in the middle of that platform. And then easy enough to turn it back on, bam. And then you can rotate it around and you can re-snap again to stuff. Which this allows for some interesting concepts, right? Like you could build some interesting things being able to turn off the snapping and rotate things in the exact way that you want them to rotate. The next tip that I'll share with you from Smallands is repairs. So you can put down a workbench as long as you carry the materials you need to build that workbench. You can put that down anywhere, and then you can access that to repair your gear. However, did you know that if you're repairing your gear early enough and often enough, it costs you nothing? So you can see none of this stuff costs me anything to repair because we're repairing it early and often. So if you carry the materials for you for the bench and you put that down and put it down often and repair, you can keep your gear fully repaired without it costing you materials. And then all you got to do is pick this guy up and take it with you, and you're done. The next tip I want to share with you about Smalland involves peaceful mode for your game. So if you go in here and you select your character and then you go to select your world, if you select peaceful mode for your game, when you do that and then you start your world, let's say you were just not in the mood to fight things, you just want to explore, you just want to go see what the world looks like. If you select peaceful mode, now we're down on the surface, and as you can see, it's even nighttime when all the terrible stuff comes out, and these bees don't care about me. Normally these bees would be attacking me. So Peaceful mode is great if you just want to run around and see what's out there. Be warned though, the moment you attack something, it stops being peaceful towards you and will fight you. And then you can just turn this back off. Actually, it defaults off every time you start the game, so you have to select peaceful mode at the start. Next tip I want to share with you about Smalland involves returning home after the end of your busy day exploring and looting. The game is really good in that it will return you to your home base. So we're out and about, we've had a long day, we're ready to log off the game and go do our thing. We can just go ahead and we can quit to the menu. And when the menu loads, we can then come back in if we want, or this would be the next session we were playing. You can see peaceful mode is off, like I said in the previous bit. And then when we start, the game has very kindly returned you home to your base and your pet, if you have one, and you don't have to worry about doing a full run home, which is nice because then you can spend more time out exploring and fighting bugs and doing the things you want to do and not worry about going home at the end of your session and building that time into your game session. The next tip I want to share with you about Smallands involves you being able to move your entire base to a new tree. So you may know that you can claim the tree, but it may not be super obvious, but you can decide to move this entire base to another tree, and it's really easy. The game makes it really easy. So we have this building here that we've built in, and all of our stuff is in there, and we have this little weird building here that we're working on. And we currently on the map right now are way over here on the map. Okay, so now we're in a different tree. If you look at the map, you can see we're here. And our base is clearly over here. That's our spawn and our tree encampment. And we can walk up to the gnome in this tree, talk to him, and we can say, I want to claim this tree and move my encampment here. And he will say, it's done. It costs you nothing, and you can take your tree, or basically your base, wherever you are currently questing on the map. And then just to prove this, let's go up top real quick. Tell him to call down the hot air balloon, and it will come down. And if we come out here, we'll see everything that we built in that other tree is now in this tree. So the tree setups are exactly the same on the top. And it'll just remap everything from where it was in your tree to this tree. And so now our base, if we look, is here. And that's really cool because that means wherever you are on the map, you can call your base to you and do whatever work you need to do in your base. The next tip I'll share with you about Smallands is that some pets, like the grasshopper, have no fall damage at all. Now this may change in the future, but right now you can jump right out of your tree if you're riding on the back of your grasshopper mount. And no matter how far you fall, no fall damage at all. So getting out of your tree is super easy. The next tip that I want to point out about Smallands that you should be aware of is that there are seasons in this game. Now, there's no console commands for me to be able to show you that, unfortunately, but it will happen that one day you will wake up and it will be the next season. It'll be winter, it'll be cold, and you'll find yourself in a world of hurt if you have not gathered and or maintained some armor that has some good cold protection on it. And so there are higher level armors that I have not been able to gather yet myself that are more protective and cold protected, but this is that padded set that you get at the beginning. And I would hang on to these, put them in a box and have them around, because come winter you're going to need them until you can make a better set of clothing. The next tip I'll share with you from Smallands involves your antenna mode. If you do antenna mode with an enemy, you can see what their strengths and weaknesses are. So his vulnerability is piercing, so we're going to go to our stabber We're going to give that to him. And he goes down really easy. And that's because we knew what his weakness was. So make sure you check antenna mode when you're getting ready to fight something, so you know what their weaknesses and their strengths are. The next tip for Smalland is a quick one, and that involves regenning your health. And that is dependent on how much food you have. So if you see on my food bar here, the nourishment, I'm at 68 out of 100. But out here you can kind of see a little white line on my nourish bar. If you keep your food above that white line, let's eat some of these mushroom steaks, for example. The moment you go above that white line, you notice I have the regen effect kick in. And you will continuously regen health as long as your nourishment is above that white line. So it really benefits you to stay full at all times. So that was 10 tips about Smalland Survive the Wilds. I hope you found some of those helpful. Do me a favor and make sure you share any other tips that you find in the comments below. That way other people know them and I can find out about stuff that maybe even I haven't found yet. I definitely recommend this game. You should check it out. It's on Steam, available now in early access. And until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye now.